Happy Sunday. Welcome back. Hope you've had a good week and a good Valentine's Day yesterday. Today we are beginning the book of Ecclesiastes. So I'll read a little bit about what it is. The title Ecclesiastes given to this book is the Greek translation of the Hebrew name Keheleth, meaning, perhaps, one who convokes an assembly. The book is concerned with the purpose and value of human life. While admitting the existence of a divine plan, it considers such a plan to be hidden from man and seeks happiness without ever finding it here below on earth. Ecclesiastes applies his vanity of vanities to everything under the sun, even to that wisdom which seeks to find at last a semblance of good in the things of the world. While Ecclesiastes concedes that there is an advantage for man in the enjoyment of certain legitimate pleasures, lest he lapse into pessimism and despair, he nevertheless considers this indulgence also vanity unless man returns due thanks to the Creator who has given him all. Under this aspect, earthly wisdom would rise to the higher level of true spiritual wisdom. This true wisdom is not found under the sun, but is perceived only by the light of faith, inasmuch as it rests with God, who is the final judge of the good and the bad, and whose reign endures forever. The epilogue gives the clue to this thought. The moral teaching of the book is imperfect, like the Old Testament itself, yet it marks an advance in the development of the doctrine of divine retribution. While rejecting the older solution of earthly rewards and punishments, Ecclesiastes looks forward to a more lasting one. The clear answer to the problem was to come with the light of Christ's teachings concerning future life. The author of the book was a teacher of popular wisdom. Keheleth was obviously only his literary name because he is called David's son, king in Jerusalem. It was commonly thought that he was King Solomon. Such personification, however, was but a literary device to lend greater dignity and authority to the book, a circumstance which does not in any way impugn its inspired character. The epilogue seems to have been written by an editor, probably a disciple of Keheleth. The entire work differs considerably in language and style from earlier books of the Old Testament. It reflects a late period of Hebrew and was probably written about 3 centuries, so 300 years before Christ. All right, so let's begin. Ecclesiastes chapter 1. The words of David's son, Keheleth, king in Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, says Keheleth, vanity of vanities. All things are vanity. What profit has man from all the labor which he toils at under the sun? One generation passes and another comes, but the world forever stays. The sun rises and the sun goes down, then it presses on to the place where it rises. Blowing now toward the south, then toward the north, the wind turns again and again, resuming its rounds. All rivers go to the sea, yet never does the sea become full. To the place where they go, the rivers keep on going. All speech is labored, there is nothing man can say. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor is the ear filled with hearing. What has been, that will be. What has been done, that will be done. Nothing is new under the sun. You hear that phrase in general, just in culture, nothing is new under the sun. This is where it comes from. Even the thing of which we say, see, this is new, has already existed in the ages that preceded us. There is no remembrance of the men of old, nor of those to come will there be any remembrance among those who come after them. I, Keheleth, was king over Israel and Jerusalem, and I applied my mind to search and investigate in wisdom all things that are done under the sun. A thankless task God has appointed for men to be busied about. I have seen all things that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and chase after the wind. What is crooked cannot be made straight, and what is missing cannot be supplied. Though I said to myself, behold, I have become great and stored up wisdom beyond all who were before me in Jerusalem, and my mind has broad experience of wisdom and knowledge. Yet when I applied my mind to know wisdom and knowledge, madness and folly, I learned that this also is a chase after wind. For in much wisdom there is much sorrow, and he who stores up knowledge stores up grief. This is a recurring thing that he says. It's chasing after wind. You can't really chase after wind. You can't catch wind. So it's a fool's errand. There's no real point in it because you can't catch it. Chapter 2. I said to myself, come now, let me try you with pleasure and the enjoyment of good things. But behold, this too was vanity. Of laughter I said mad, and of mirth, what good does this do? I thought of beguiling my senses with wine, though my mind was concerned with wisdom and of taking up folly, until I should understand what is best for men to do under the heavens during the limited days of their life. I undertook great works. I built myself houses and planted vineyards. I made gardens and parks, set out in them fruit trees of all sorts, and I constructed for myself reservoirs to water a flourishing woodland. I acquired male and female slaves, and slaves were born into my house. I also had growing herds of cattle and flocks of sheep, more than all who had been before me in Jerusalem. I amassed for myself silver and gold, and the wealth of kings and provinces. I got for myself male and female singers, and all human luxuries. I became great, and I stored up more than all others before me in Jerusalem. My wisdom too stayed with me. Nothing that my eyes desired did I deny them, nor did I deprive myself of any joy, but my heart rejoiced in the fruit of all my toil. This was my share for all my toil. But when I turned to all the works that my hands had wrought, and all the toil at which I had taken such pains, behold, all was vanity and a chase after wind, with nothing gained under the sun. For what will the man do who is to come after the king? What men have already done? I went on to the consideration of wisdom, madness, and folly, and I saw that wisdom has the advantage over folly as much as light has the advantage over darkness. The wise man has eyes in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. Yet I knew that one lot befalls both of them. So I said to myself, if the fool's lot is to befall me also, why then should I be wise? Where is the profit for me, as I concluded in my heart that this too is vanity? Neither of the wise men nor of the fool, neither of the wise man nor the fool will there be an abiding remembrance, for in the days to come both will have been forgotten. How is it that the wise man dies as well as the fool? Therefore I loathed life, since for me the work that is done under the sun is evil, for all is vanity and a chase after wind. And I detested all the fruits of my labor under the sun, because I must leave them to a man who is to come after me. And who knows whether he will be a wise man or a fool? Yet he will have control over all the fruits of my wise labor under the sun. This also is vanity. So my feelings turned to despair of all the fruits of my labor under the sun. For here is a man who has labored with wisdom and knowledge and skill, and to another who has not labored over it he must leave his property. This also is vanity and a great misfortune. For what profit comes to a man from all the toil and anxiety of heart with which he has labored under the sun? All his days sorrow and grief are his occupation. Even at night his mind is not at rest. This also is vanity. There is nothing better for man than to eat and drink and provide himself with good things by his labors. Even this, I realized, is from the hand of God. For who can eat or drink apart from him? For to whatever man he sees fit, he gives wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he gives the task of gathering possessions, and to be given to whatever man God sees fit. This also is vanity and a chase after wind. Chapter 3. There is an appointed time for everything, and a time for every affair under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot the plant, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to be far from embraces, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. What advantage has the worker from his toil? I have considered the task which God has appointed for men to be busied about. He has made everything appropriate to its time, and has put the timeless into their hearts, without men's ever discovering from beginning to end the work which God has done. I recognize that there is nothing better than to be glad and to do well during life. For every man, moreover, to eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of all his labor is a gift of God. I recognize that whatever God does will endure forever. There is no adding to it or taking from it. Thus has God done that he may be revered. What now is has already been. What is to be already is, and God restores what would otherwise be displaced. And still under the sun is the judgment place. I saw wickedness, and in the seat of justice, iniquity. And I said to myself, both the just and the wicked God will judge. since there is a time for every affair and on every work a judgment. I said to myself, as for the children of men, it is God's way of testing them and of showing that they are in themselves like beasts. For the lot of man and of beast is one lot. The one dies as well as the other. Both have the same life breath, and man has no advantage over the beast, but all is vanity. Both go to the same place. Both were made from the dust, and to the dust they both return. Who knows if the life breath of the children of man goes upward, and the life breath of beasts goes earthward? And I saw that there is nothing better for a man than to rejoice in his work, for this is his lot. Who will let him see what is to come after him? And finally, chapter 4. Again, I considered all the oppressions that take place under the sun. The tears of the victims with none to comfort them. From the hand of their oppressors comes violence, and there is none to comfort them. And those now dead I declare more fortunate in death than are the living to be still alive, and better off than both is yet unborn, who has not seen the wicked work that is done under the sun. Then I saw that all toil and skillful work is the rivalry of one man for another. This also is vanity and a chase after wind. The fool folds his arms and consumes his own flesh. Better is one handful with tranquility than two with toil and a chase after wind. Again I found this vanity under the sun. A solitary man with no companion, with neither son nor brother, yet there is no end to all his toil, and riches do not satisfy his greed. For whom do I toil and deprive myself of good things? This also is vanity and a worthless task. Two are better than one. They get a good wage for their labor. If one falls, the other will lift up his companion. Woe to the solitary man, for if he should fall, he has no one to lift him up. So also if two sleep together, they can keep each other warm. How can one alone keep warm? Where a lone man may be overcome, two together can resist. A 3-ply cord is not easily broken. Can you hear that too? Just a thing, a cord of 3 strands can hardly be broken. That's where it comes from. Better is a poor but wise youth than an old but foolish king who no longer knows caution. For from a prison house one comes forth to rule, since even in his royalty he was poor at birth. Then I saw all those who are to live and move about under the sun with the heir apparent who will succeed in his palace or in his place. There is no end to all these people, to all over whom he takes precedence. Yet the latter generations will not applaud him. This also is vanity and a chase after wind. Guard your step when you go to the house of God. Let your approach be obedience rather than the fool's offering of sacrifice, for they know not how to keep from doing evil. Guard your step when you go to the house of God. Let your approach be obedience rather than the fool's offering of sacrifice, for they know not how to keep from doing evil. And that's where we'll stop for today. Jumping out to me today is chapter 1, verses 9 and 10. We'll come back to those. What has been, that will be. What has been done, that will be done. Nothing is new under the sun. Even the thing which they say, see, this is new, has already existed in the ages that preceded us. How often have we noticed that? Technology might change, how we contact others and how we interact with the world might change, but people don't change. Human nature doesn't change, or I've yet to see evidence of it. I read a lot of historical letters and documents and things, and technology changes. The world gets smaller by, constant connection via the internet and things like that, but human nature is the same. The way we relate to one another is the same. It's both a comfort and a annoyance, I guess. It's like we don't seem to learn. History is bound to, until you learn from it, history is bound to repeat or rhyme. It's biblical. What has been, that will be. What has been done, that will be done. Nothing is new under the sun. Even the thing of which we say, see, this is new, has already existed in the ages that preceded us. Nothing's new. So on that note, let us go ahead and close with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Amen. All right. Hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.